All right, everybody, welcome to the Ref Room. I am Scott Smokin Silz, coming to you from Chicago, along with our local referee-in-chief, Brad Baumruck. Hope you guys are doing well. What are you doing there, buddy? What are you doing? You moving your hand in front of the camera so nobody can see that hat you've got on, or what?
No, I was trying to get you to stop because the music was still going. But
I know the music was still going. Yeah, we can do that. It's okay to do that once in a while, you know. I got
just checking.
Yeah, it's allowed. We're allowed to have music in the background if we want. You know, we could run music now. I mean, hey, here we go.
Is that better for you?
I mean, we can get right to it.
Make it a show of music. The heck with it.
We might get more viewers that way, right?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if our rights go very far, so we're not playing any of the top 7,000.
We can't. We just can't.
Yeah.
We got to play licensed music. I know. Well, anyway.
All right.
So, we usually like to kick off the show with a little NHL talk. There's not much to talk about in Chicago, unfortunately.
No.
30 points for the year. That's not very good. They are so far down in the bottom. It is what it is.
Scott.
When's the trade deadline? When's the deadline?
It's a while still.
Is it?
They moved it out a couple years ago.
Okay.
Hey, but they did have that outdoor game.
Yeah.
Which I watched. Okay. And let me say, I was so bored. I watched a lot of it, and it was not a very interesting hockey game, But I heard the the bars and everything were a lot of fun outside
sure.
Wrigleyville, and everybody had a blast. So
I bet
whoever went, I'm glad you had a good time. Not for me anymore. I've done it.
Yeah, 6-2, 6-2. I mean, it's rough. What can I tell you? I mean, I couldn't do it because it was New Year's Eve, and I don't know if you guys know, but that is the busiest night of the year for events anywhere, and we had the #1 event in Chicago. It was on Channel 7. If you stayed up till midnight, we were at the Park West with the Chosen Few and the Hot Mix 5. Had a great time. They sent Ryan Cheverini, the sports guy, the #1 show in the mornings there, and Val Warner out to cover the event, and it was great. So hope you guys got a chance to check it out. So, there is life beyond hockey.
Yes. Yes, there is.
I don't believe it, but I'm told there is life beyond hockey. We spend so much of our time at the rinks, it's not even funny. As a matter of fact, now that it's cold, so my squirts got into a tournament. We were going to like South Bend, Indiana. They didn't have anybody for us to play. Then we were gonna go somewhere else, couldn't get in. Yep. Now we're back in Chicago, and so 3 of our 4 games, 2 of them are at Addison, my favorite spot where it will be really cold, and then we're outdoors at Frosemont. It's going to be on Saturday. That is the coldest day of the week. Yeah. Okay, and I'm the one guy that doesn't like outdoor hockey, so this is where we're going with this. Yeah.
Put one of these on with another one underneath. And get all your put your referee underwear on, your stuff underneath your clothes. Yep. I'm telling you won't be cold then. That's what I would do.
I will. I know. My face will be cold. My hands will be cold. My feet will be cold. What can I tell you? It's gonna be.
You can cover your face.
Fortunately, they only play 11-minute periods. I hope they're going to continue to play 11 minutes with the 3-minute warm up. Okay, that's what I'm hoping for. So.
I understand. 100%.
Anyway, lots of excitement. We're coming into the final. I'll call this the final busy weekend of the year. I mean, we've got playoffs and everything, and they're only a couple of weeks away. But this is the last holiday weekend. Lots of tournaments going on. It's busy, so I'm sure everybody's ready to skate lots of games this weekend and get ready for lots of excitement because the out-of-town parents might be here.
Yeah. Yeah, and Scott, like you said, playoffs are coming up, so
I know.
Everybody should be ready for those and what comes with those, which is upset people, and that's just an unfortunate part of our game. But somebody has to win and move on, unfortunately. So.
Well, we've already, upset people we've already got because they're all getting nervous as it is trying to make playoffs or get into position for playoffs. So, the games are getting more intense. Definitely more intense, and I love it. Bring it, makes it fun. I love the excitement. I love the banter. Make it happen. Let's just say hello to a couple people checking in real quick. Karen says March 7th. March 7th what? No, March 17th starts the MLK weekend festivities, I believe. And not only that, Polar Dome opens on the 17th, right?
Not March 7th. Scott, March 7th.
Oh, March 7th. I'm sorry, January 17th. March 7th. What is March 7th?
March 7th? I don't know.
I guess that would be our
finals. So 7th, 8th, 9th, because it's going to be
right.
Well,
we have to correct something anyway. We were going to correct a couple of the dates. We talked about this yesterday because the dates that we gave you for the United Center were not correct that went out. So what is the correct date for the United Center for the 5 games?
So there's 2 days, though, for the United Center. That's where the confusion came in, and it was posted as well. But the 9th is the Nye Hill Premier Select Finals at the United Center. You can get tickets for that. I know that. And I think that's an all-day ticket as well. And then the United Center for the state finals is March 16th. So it's that Sunday. So the week after. So we'll be there. That also in that weekend, the 14th, 15th, 16th is district playoffs. And we'll have the women's Tier 1 and Tier 2 here in Chicago.
Where are they having those?
And the men's,
where
they're going to have them at Seven Bridges and Romeoville, I believe. Again, that was the host site last time. So I believe they're going to use that again. They're very close on the highway, so that works out well. And they both have multiple sheets. And then Romeoville is able to have an extra sheet in case something happens during the playoffs that they need that extra sheet. So they have those set up, and then the men's will be down in St. Louis. And I don't remember the rink, but I bet you it's going to be the Blues Practice Center. I forget where that's at. I have not personally ever been there, which is kind of amazing. I've skated down there a million times, never made it out there. It's a little bit further from my buddy's house, so normally we don't go that far. But
gotcha.
That'll be down there in a good time. The men's will be down there. There'll be a lot of representatives at all the places. Even if you're not reffing, come out, say hi. There's a lot of referees there, a lot of supervision staff. You might get to meet our district referee in chief, because I think he's going to drive into Chicago coming through Friday.
TR is coming to town.
I think he is
coming
through Friday,
coming to town.
Stopping in, and then going out to St. Louis, or he's going to come back on his way back. So I don't really know yet. I know that that's all up in the air with it being at two different sites, but there'll definitely be people there. So
and TR does watch the show, by the way. So if you guys ever do have questions, you could probably pop them in the comments. Yeah. TR does watch. And he just likes to be behind the scenes, that's all. I met him last year at dinner. Great guy. I wish he'd come on the show. He would be fun to talk to. I'm sure we'd have lots of good questions for him. Yeah, I know. No pressure, TR. Anyway, Karen said March 7th is the NHL deadline. Thank you for that, deadline. Karen. Yeah. There you go. And real quick, happy. All right. Hello to Alan, of course, checking in. Appreciate it. Yes, Frankie's doing great. She was right here a minute ago. I'm sure she'll be back. And yes, we have the Diet Coke just like you, Alan. I know Alan likes his Diet Coke as well. So very good. Hope you're doing well, and appreciate your checking in as always. All right. With that being said, let's keep going on this, because you're getting ready to go to the winter meetings, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I confirmed my check-in for my flight at 10:49 this morning, because that's when we leave tomorrow. We'll get in there tomorrow in Nashville. It's the first time they're having it out there.
Oh, nice.
So it'll be a different venue, but always a lot of good conversation. There is quite a bit of time scheduled for the officials. One thing I want to let everybody know is that the USA Hockey winter meetings and summer meetings, which are in Denver, are open to all USA Hockey members. You would have to pay your way there and for the registration for it. But you can go in, and if you walk into some of those rooms, like the playing rules and, like the equipment stuff, you could see some very interesting stuff and see what the people really care about that are on these committees, because some of the meetings are intense. Let's put it that way. And these people do care. They don't change things on a whim. So, I know a lot of people don't like the icing and offsides rule that we currently have.
Yes, I'm raising my hand. I am one of those, yes.
Well, it was not changed on a whim, and them considering changing it back is not going to be on a whim either. So, but they will be looking at that very heavily. Let's put it that way. Go ahead. I know where you're at.
Yeah, I'm just putting some comments up here, Kevin. Thank you for checking in. Girls Central District at Glenview, March 14th, 15th, and 16th. And if you haven't been to Glenview, if you're from out of town, that's a great facility. Really nice facility. So I think you'll enjoy that if you haven't been there before. And they have a great pro shop.
Yep.
Free plug for my friends at Offensive Zone. That's Brad, another Brad. And yeah, I do like those guys. He takes great care of me. They got the pro shop there, and they've got the one at Heartland, and they're good guys. So they got a free plug. I never do that for them, but I'm doing it right now. So anyway.
Feeling generous. It's not the season of giving right now, Scott.
I am. It's the time to give. The gift that keeps on giving. Right here. So what else are we going to see? Do you think we're going to get that passed? I mean, that was the rumor that it was passed. Are they still going to be voting on stuff during this one, or do we already know, like, you're coming back with
No, they have to vote. There's no way any rule gets through without being voted on. The committee did put behind their suggestions, of course, they put what they feel should pass. So the process is, the rule gets submitted by anybody, right? So it gets put in. There is a form for it. It was much earlier this last time than it normally is. The reason is because the rules meeting for the vote has shifted from the meeting in Denver, which would normally happen in June here coming up. It's shifted backwards to January. That way, USA Hockey is able to prepare the materials, which was always an issue. I don't know how they even did it, because they would get that done in June 25th through the 30th, and that stuff would have to be out to referees and everybody by like August 1st. So really think about that turnaround and how much people had to work, and it's caused other problems with training materials. So they've in my mind pushed it back, which I think is a great thing. That also gives everybody a chance to hear about it, and then things will change. So it should be a good meeting as always. Lots of different opinions, lots of great people are there from everywhere. And you hear a lot of interesting things, especially if you just start talking to random people you don't know. That's what the social hours are for. And, I had a lovely conversation with a registrar in Colorado, and they taught me a bunch of stuff that I didn't know. And then, it told me that we had accidentally, with the U18s, not allowed some players to skate underneath the USA Hockey test pilot for a game. And I said, well, I do understand that. We're aware of it. We've gotten a communication out to our officials. We only had been informed that it was still up for vote. We never heard a finale of the vote. So some of the officials...
Was that for the number of players that could dress per game for the U18? Yeah.
They could dress U18 Tier 1 only. But, then I saw her again after they had their state in Denver. It was quite interesting. And she sought me out. She found me. She apologized to me because they had officials in Denver not allow players to play in their state final.
Wow.
And guess what? They weren't aware of the test pilot either. So it was very, there's a lot of great people there. That's what I'll say. I'll take away. And you learn some stuff. You pick some stuff up, and we can bring it back to our locals. So that's the biggest part of it.
So the votes will actually happen while you're out there this time. So you'll have an answer when you come back.
They happen Sunday.
So next week, we will know if we have to live with offsides, instant offsides versus delayed offsides.
So they take the votes, and then they actually give out the official passes. It's either Monday or that Tuesday, if I remember correctly. It's not. It's like announced, but it's not announced. So if that makes sense, because you got to remember, what happens is each affiliate has X amount of votes, and I don't know how all that works.
Well, they need to vote with us, meaning, we want delayed offsides and ice the puck on the PK, because we've been telling people that it's passed already for like the last year.
Well,
so it needs to pass. Yes, pass. That's the way it needs to go down, because that's what Chicago wants. I don't know any referee that wants it any other way. I really don't. I don't know any coaches that want it any other way either. So, if you're USA Hockey affiliates, if you're watching, that's our stance here for sure. Brad may not comment as referee in chief, but I'm going to comment for him and tell you that I don't know a single referee or coach that wouldn't like to go back to the way it was. So, with that being said, all right. What else what else is big on the agenda for this week?
Always, players' equipment is always a big thing. I'm sure we're going to learn some more stuff about the neck laceration protection, because they were still working on some of that, so Heck had to keep working on it. That's going to be a big topic, so I will definitely be in there. It depends, because there's two of us going from the official section in Illinois, and we kind of split our time if we have to, and I believe that meeting is at another when I have to be in another one. So we'll definitely bring back as much as we can, and we're very lucky. We take technology and walk into those rooms and record, and it voice to text for us, and then we print it out and we go back through and we pull out bullet points. So we can answer a lot of questions as long as we're in a good spot to hear it. Unfortunately,
and the person next to you isn't having a loud conversation that picks it up.
You know what? Actually, there's not a lot of that goes on, Scott. It's very well done. The people come and go. There are people because they are coming and going from meetings. Yeah. They exit and the rooms are nice, but it's a new facility, so we'll find out, right?
Are you guys? Oh man, what's the big place down in Nashville? I've played there a couple times. Dolly, what's the big resort for the convention center? Is that where you guys are going?
We're at the Renaissance.
Oh, you're at the Renaissance. Okay.
That's at the end of the
There's
strip,
that one huge facility. I've played there a couple times. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool venue, but it's huge. Like, you never leave the property. You might get out for one meal and go somewhere, drive the routes.
That's how the one in Florida was. It was huge.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. I mean,
Hey, Nashville is supposed to be great for any kind of a get together. I'd like to go for a tournament. That's where I was hoping they'd send our squirt team for a tournament. Was Nashville? I heard it's a lot of fun.
I was hoping my kids' team was going to get into that tournament, so that they could be there and they'd be doing their own thing. But I'd at least be able to maybe go catch a game, right? No, they're in a different city. So because they couldn't get in, because that's a hard tournament to get into.
Yeah. Well, it's a good time there, I guess. I've not been down there for a hockey game, to see Nashville play like Blackhawks or something like that. I wish I would get a chance to do that. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Everybody says it's a really good town to go to for that sort of thing. So
I've never been
we should
there.
We should put that on our radar, Brad. That could be a road trip. We could do that sometime.
Ref room at Nashville.
Ref room in Nashville for a Hawks game.
I don't know who's going to pay for it, but whatever.
We'll go Dutch. We'll just a couple tanks of gas, not a big deal.
8 hours from my house.
Yeah, that's about right. I was thinking 8.5. Probably 8.5 from where I am. Yeah.
Oh, it's probably no, because you think I live out in the middle of nowhere.
You do. You're in Kentucky, aren't you? You're so far south. You're in Kentucky. When we drove there for your party, I thought we were going to Kentucky. I'm pretty sure we paid some tolls and we were in Kentucky. So yeah.
Yeah, we're down here. But it's probably at least that's probably 9 hours from your house, but that's regardless. Yeah. But I hear Nashville's a fun place.
Brian
to be,
Kenny, you got it right. Opryland. That's what I was thinking of. That's what I.
Yeah, we're not there. I know that.
Thank you. Yeah, but that's the one I was thinking of because I've been there several times. That's a pretty cool place. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. And then what is Karen says? Temps for Nashville, TH50, F54.
Yeah, the temperature is 50.
Oh,
Thursday,
temps.
54. Temps. Saturday, 52. Sunday, 37. It was supposed to be 37 when we got there tomorrow, so I'm happy.
Well, think about it, because Saturday, I think, is 12 degrees here, if I'm not mistaken. Is that?
I'll take it.
I'm gonna check that real quick, because it's going to be painful. Yeah. Oh, actually, they've changed. Oh, Sunday. Yeah. Sunday, 12 degrees.
Sunday is going to be
and
cold.
Sunday, I think, is the day that we're at Frosemont. Yeah.
I wish you luck.
It'll feel like 12 degrees because I'm at Addison, surrounding that. Like, I got a Addison, Frosemont, Addison. So it'll feel like. Look at that. 6 degrees for the high on Monday, 9 on Tuesday.
Hey, I refereed outside Sunday, and it was 30. And it was glorious at 9 a.m. I was like, 30 at 9 a.m.?
30's nice, man. I mean, that's warmer than some of the rinks. You know that. It was
great. I had a good time.
Yeah. You get a time like that, and, when the weather is nice and it's not windy, it's perfect. As long as you don't have the sun glaring, off the ice, which can happen.
Yeah,
overcast and 30 is nice.
With the outdoor games, maybe we should talk about that, Scott. We didn't talk about this, but maybe we should talk about when you have the sun in somebody's eyes, or if the wind is blowing out of belief from one side, or let's say The ice is damaged on one side of the ice. You know, it's harder to play on.
That's when you cancel the game for safety reasons and you go home.
So number one, this is covered. Okay, if you know there is a playing surface that there's an unfair advantage for whatever it is. The NHL did it once here when the game, I think, was at Wrigley the first time. They did it, and they did it someplace else. They may have done it in Detroit for wind. The wind was so bad from one direction that it was harder to skate down the ice. So instead of playing period 1, period 2, period 3, they actually switched halfway between period 2 and they switched ends of the ice at the stoppage after the 10-minute mark. And both teams played half on each side of the rink, so half the game. So it was a very thing that happened, and that can happen in your games. I've seen it in indoor rinks where, let's say, they had figure skaters out there, and the goal crease is all dinged up from the figure skaters on one side of the ice. But it's still playable. We can still play, but it's going to be a competitive advantage. It's not a safety concern at that point. You can still play that game, but you would want to make that even so that it's no longer, 1-2-1. Yeah. So, or excuse me, 1-2 for the periods, and you would want to make it half the game. So, they also did it once, I think, for the sun for the NHL because the sun was reflecting off some building outside. And I think that was a stadium series, though. They didn't realize at the time of day, so it was like right in the players' eyes. They couldn't see, so they played each on half the game on that way. So
all the things you don't think about going into a hockey game, but these are what some of the items you have to deal with. What about for cold weather gear? What do you like for cold weather gear when you're out there?
So for me, I put on just my unders, and then I put a second set of unders on. That's it. I don't have anything else special. I do not wear gloves. I don't bring out hand warmers. I still don't put socks on in my skates. So I am a cold weather person anyways, so it doesn't really affect me. I would state, though, definitely bring yourself a thermos and have like coffee, tea, whatever hot drink of your choice.
That's a good idea.
Afterwards. Yeah. That way you can warm up. Hey, I just found that out. I didn't think about it ever. And somebody showed up to my game. He's been a guest on this show, Pops, and he had a thermos with coffee in it. And he's like, coffee? I'm like, that's a great idea. And it was definitely worth it. So it was definitely take the tips from the people that are around.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. I've seen some people, they do the gator, like the warm gator covers your head and comes down and then, goes into your sweater.
I would agree with anybody that wants to wear any of that stuff. I also agree with gloves. I get it. I'm not a fan, but if somebody wants to wear gloves out there,
I'll tell you, if you haven't seen them, there's something that somebody gave me at one point for a Christmas gift, and they're called a wristy. And a wristy is about this long. It's like a tube. It's got a cutout in it. And it goes over your wrist to here and fits snugly around your hand. And yet, by covering this part of your hand, the back of your hand, it keeps your hands warm. They're really pretty cool. They're black.
Yeah,
they're not as noticeable because your fingers are still showing. Even in a cold, like an Addison type barn, if you're in there for a couple games and it's like unbearable, you can go to a wristy and it works pretty well.
I think it was 0 when I refereed there the last time.
Addison?
The coaches were like, the one coach was like, he's like, you think it's cold today? He goes, you should have seen when we had practice here Thursday. He's like, it was colder. I'm like, it was colder? I'm like, how was it colder? It was warmer outside. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, well,
I don't know how it gets as cold as it does there, but it does. There's no heat whatsoever in that building. It's disconnected up above.
All right, what I'll tell you though, Scott, is my dad played tennis in there when that was an indoor tennis club, and that place was hot in the winter. Okay,
so the tennis clubs, they all look. I played tennis. I know they had heaters like around the courts. They were, like hanging up in the air. They had multiples around all the courts, so you did stay warm, especially on the outside walls. They had a lot of
it was hot,
a lot of heaters, but they don't have them now. I can tell you that.
No.
If you look up in the ceiling, there's ductwork up there, and it's disconnected completely.
Just have to
So,
hang.
yeah. At least in the NHL rink. So, yes, you know what we're talking about. That is a cold building. It's been interesting. I mean, we have a couple other cold buildings. I mean, we had Compressor down over at North Shore. They kept playing. They dry. My squirts played. They had to dry cut the ice for them, but they got through it. So they didn't lose a beat. They didn't miss a beat on that one. Fortunately, I guess it was cold enough that it didn't really affect them that badly. But yeah, it's a tough time of year on these physical plants because these rinks are going hard and they're going a lot of hours a day, and when it does get cold, things change.
Well, Scott, when it gets real cold like this, so the way that a rink is kept frozen is through compressing gas, which is ammonia gas. What they do is they compress the gas, which makes it cold, and then it goes through the chiller, which has all these pipes in it. It comes through, and the liquid that goes through all the circuits in the rink, which is brine, which is a saltwater solution, it passes through the chiller, it gets pumped back out through the rink, it comes back around, circles back around. Well, when it comes back, it's 30 degrees, which is considered hot, right? So as the ammonia comes through, it turns into a gas because it boils off because it's cold. It chills out the stuff that goes back out to the rink. That gas then goes up a pipe into what's known as a cooling tower outside on the building. So in the winter, you may see a big stack of steam coming out of this thing. That's the cooling tower on the rink. Yep. And what's in the same exact pipes that go through the chiller, and water falls on it and they blow on it. They cool that gas off. It returns back into a liquid, goes back down, goes back into the reciprocating compressor or screw compressor, and then the whole process starts over again. So it's quite interesting how it is, but that stuff outside is going, and it's cold. The water freezes up in there sometimes. The fan belt gets jammed because of snow or ice. It can be
I've seen
very
like glaciers with the ice just coming off the side of it. Like, you can just see it's interesting to see.
And in the summer, there's sprays out. In the summer, a lot of there's mists out because of where it's placed. So the wind blows it all around. So it's definitely a very interesting process. If anybody's ever interested in how it works, definitely there's a lot of cool courses. And if you've taken them, you know how it works. But it's more complex than we think.
Now, do you put up an outdoor rink at your place?
Not this year because I would have, but I did not expect this cold to stick around. So I didn't put it up, which, to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to be here much longer anyways from what looks like for the next 10 days. But
let's see what it says here.
It's going to go back to 35, Scott.
Yeah, I know we were supposed to get a little, so we're going to go to 39 on Friday, but then it's dropping again, and it's staying like that till next Friday at 33. So
so I didn't know if I was going to have it long enough to make it worth my while this year.
Yeah.
So
I've seen a lot of those rinks on Facebook. They've shown a lot of the rinks like up in Canada, people's outdoor rinks. Like some of them are just unbelievable. Some of these guys have the little Zamboni, like they have at Johnny's for the little ice surface at the West. Like they've got their studio rink or whatever you want to call it there. And they got this little John Deere type thing. Very cool. Like some people just are like super invested in it. It's very, very nice.
Well, I mean, if your kids are outside there every day, you might as well make the investment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, be a lot of fun. All right, what else we got to cover today? Lots of hockey going on. Playoffs, really, 2 weeks away, I guess?
Playoffs for high school around here.
15th already.
I think 3 of the 4 high school leagues are going to start playoffs next week.
Yeah. Senior nights have already been happening. So, the season is...
I did a couple.
Winding down.
Yeah, it's almost over, man.
I know.
It's almost
scary.
Over.
Yeah.
It's a good thing and a bad thing because we're going to have another season coming right back up. So get ready.
Spring league. Yep.
Yeah, man, we can comment on officiating registration is supposed to open up when USA does this upcoming year, which is April 1st.
Yep.
So there may be seminars starting in April. So I don't know.
I'm curious.
Yet,
We have a newsletter that goes out here in the Chicagoland area. You know, the IHOA group puts out a newsletter. I saw one that just came through yesterday talking about referee attire. Maybe you want to comment on this a little bit, because a lot of us were what is going on with this? Because, you know, typically we see everybody dressed like a referee, but there's some other things, I guess, not. And for some of the newer officials, like if you're a level 1, we kind of get, you know, you're getting started here. But for the experienced ones, we expect a little bit more. And I'm going to let you.
Yeah, so, so the one it had on there that you're supposed to wear a referee sweater with the crest, current crest. That's one big problem. Current crest affixed to the left breast of your shirt, of your referee sweater, okay? So, and then